Be happy. Be healthy. Be your best. Be your best.
So we talked previously about habits in the evening that are good for the heart, good for heart health, things that you can actively do to support not only strengthening your heart, but not weakening it with things that you unknowingly could do that could make it a problem. If you haven't listened to or seen that, you might want to go back to that video because there's a lot of valuable information in it. But let's now talk about morning habits for heart health. Because surprisingly, there's things in the morning that you can do as well, and things that do affect heart health that many people unknowingly in the morning are doing without realizing that they can be affecting how healthy their heart is and actually affect their longevity. So let's just consider a few of those. One of the things that you do not want to do is check your phone first thing. Why? Because if you check your phone and if there is anything on it that is stressful when you look at it, the science research is showing that your blood pressure can spike for up to 47 minutes if you view something that is disturbing or stressful. That right there is one reason not to look at your phone first thing in the morning. It also increases your clotting risk. It's another reason too. So what is the timeline? The timeline is no device for a minimum of 2 minutes. That is what science of the heart and the reaction to first morning stress with devices is showing. So that's valuable tip number one. Valuable tip number two. And this is more for people that are older in years, more like 60 on, as far as just depending on what their heart health has been, their blood pressure has been, and what their stability factors are. So for those that are older in years, there's a couple of useful things that you can do, and that's how you get out of bed in the morning. Now, surprisingly, how you get out of bed in the morning can actually affect your heart too. Why is that? Well, the reason is that when you go from lying down to standing up too fast and just hitting the floor, it quickly makes the heart be under the pressure of moving several liters of blood to the head from the core. And that can create unnecessary stress on the heart. Plus, there's the possibility of, with that blood rush, of some lightheadedness or fainting, which is another big risk. So it's better to lie still for a minute or two when you wake up without looking at any devices, like we mentioned previously, and then slowly sit up just for a minute and then place your feet firmly on the floor, support yourself, and stand up. It's not that big of a change, but surprisingly, a lot of people have had issues with fainting, falling just by getting out of bed too quickly and just having a repercussion with their heart. Another thing, drinking coffee first thing in the morning. So you have woken up, you haven't looked at any of the devices, you've stood up carefully, but then you reach quickly to get that cup of joe. No, no, no. Why? When you drink coffee first thing, what can happen is you can spike your cortisol higher than it's supposed to go, and you also affect your blood sugar. So that is something that can be distressing on the heart first thing in the morning. What's the better thing to do? The better thing to do is to drink 2 cups of water first thing. 2 cups room temperature lemon water is great for the body and also an assist to the liver. And then how long do you have to wait before that first cup of coffee? Well, you can look back in another podcast we did for all the science information, but the bottom line is that you really should wait 90 minutes. There's a lot that goes on in the body the first 90 minutes. The adenosine sites that are responsible for sleep have to release the adenosine. The cortisol has to attach. And if you drink caffeine in that first 90 minutes, you mess that whole cycle up. Look for that other podcast for that information. But the bottom line is 2 cups of water first thing and try not to drink a cup of coffee for 90 minutes. Another thing that can affect the heart is skipping breakfast. It can affect your cortisol. It can affect your adrenaline, and it can affect heart health. Now, some of you are doing intermittent fasting, so you'll have a different time that you have gotten to where the body is benefiting or finding it tolerable to have your first meal. But for people in general, skipping breakfast is not a good thing for the heart. However, there is a caveat to that. And what is it? That is what is worse than skipping breakfast is one that is high carb and sugar. So when you do a breakfast that's high carb and sugar, there's a 42% higher chance of a cardiac event over time if you continue to eat that type of breakfast. That's a pretty big percentage. And that's what science is finding out about it. Now, think about if you combine eating a high sugar, high carb breakfast with getting out of bed too fast, with drinking a cup of coffee first thing, and with looking at your phone or your tablet or your computer first thing. You start putting all of those small risk factors together, and you actually can be having a pretty big impact on heart health. So, in the first hour, what do you want to do? You want it to eat a breakfast that is good in protein, good in healthy fats, has some fiber for heart health. So, here again, those that are practicing intermittent fasting would want to practice this guideline as well. When they do their first meal of the day, having it be where it has got some healthy protein, healthy fat, and fiber is just really, really valuable for heart health. Another thing that can help with heart health is taking a short 10-minute walk in the morning. So when you haven't looked at your device and you've gotten out of bed carefully, going for a 10 to 15-minute walk outside is highly beneficial for heart health. It sets the tone for the whole day. It supports the nervous system, which then has a big connection with the heart. It also supports the pineal gland and the circadian rhythm of the body. And it's just a good habit for heart health. So do a silent walk. Don't be listening to music. Just do a nice silent walk. That is really, really good for heart health. It also benefits your sleep cycle. When you get early morning light, like I said, it goes in and it balances your pineal gland circadian rhythm. And it actually has an effect late at night on the ability for you to go to sleep and to have high quality sleep. So just a 10 to 15-minute walk early in the morning, preferably just a little bit after the sun has come up. That direct sunlight into the eyes goes straight through and affects those different parts of the brain in a really, really beneficial way. So these are just some of the things that you can do in the morning to help with your heart health. And if you've enjoyed some of these points, we really encourage you to like and subscribe to our podcast channel and also share it with friends and family that could really benefit from this information. So it was my privilege to give you this information, and we look forward to talking to you again. And don't forget to go back and look at what the nighttime suggestions were for heart health as well. And if you have a moment and you can, drop a comment down below where you're listening from or where you're watching from. And we just love seeing those comments. And if you have any suggestions on other subjects that you'd like to hear about, or just want to drop a line on something you learned in this one that you enjoyed, we really appreciate seeing those.